also. Okay. So Rebecca and I wanted to talk today because we've had a lot of clients come to us recently with issues around dangerous people and varying levels of dangerous people. How do you deal with dangerous people? I had one client who was telling us that she closes the back curtains in her house because she's afraid of this person who was stalking her, and like it was still impacting her life even though she doesn't see him every day. So we both have had experiences with dangerous people. I guess we should introduce ourselves first. I'm Meredith Holly. I'm a lawyer and certified life coach, if you don't know me, and I'm the founder of Eris Conflict Resolution, where we help employees stop sexual harassment without quitting their jobs. And a lot of times this involves people who feel very dangerous to our clients. And Rebecca works in our business. She certifies people through our cultural health training program. So she works really closely with all of our clients on the issues that they're facing around dangerous people. So introduce yourself, Rebecca.
I am Rebecca. I'm a certified coach also, and I have my own business where I help lonely people find informed friendships called Lonely No More.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love working at Eris and helping our clients work through these issues and understand how to not be in these kinds of situations again.
So I feel like one of the things that we see really often that we wanted to talk about is like, what is a dangerous person? Like, I think the biggest problem that our clients have is that they're like, maybe this person isn't dangerous. Maybe they are dangerous. My husband doesn't think they're dangerous. My boss doesn't think they're dangerous, but I think they're dangerous. I feel like I'm in danger. Am I in danger? Maybe they're not dangerous. Well, they have only sent emails. They haven't like threatened me with a gun yet. Maybe they're not dangerous. And so like, what do you think, like how do you see this come up with our clients of like defining what a dangerous person is? How do you know?
Yeah. So for our clients, right, what we always hone back to is what is your feeling, right? Because they spend so much time trying to decide or define if a person is dangerous. And when we like get into that energy of defining other people's behavior, we're totally canceling out our own feelings.
Yeah.
And like our own feelings are the most important thing in the world for
Right.
anything, for anything.
Right. They control everything we do, right?
Right. And so we just always go back to that. Like, okay, yeah, sure, these people might think this, these people might think that. What do you think and feel?
Yeah. And then the other thing we see is a lot of times our clients will be like, well, I think you were saying this example of one of our clients saying, well, I think he's going to kill me. I don't really think he's going to
Yeah.
kill me, but I think he's going to kill
Yeah.
me, but
Yeah.
not really. And you
Yeah.
get into this debate of, but then the interesting thing to me is that if that thought is coming up for you, that there's this person that's going to kill you,
Right.
that's something to take seriously. And it doesn't mean that that has to be the result
Right.
that you ultimately experience. If you acknowledge that that thought is coming up for you, that is a problem that is worth taking seriously, even if your boss does not have that thought, even if your husband does not,
Yeah.
even if your mom doesn't have that thought. It doesn't matter who else does not have that thought. That thought in itself is a crisis level problem. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be he's going to kill me. It could be he's going to physically injure me, or she is going to
Mhm.
physically injure me. Anybody, right? Any gender. It doesn't have to be murder, right?
Right.
Are you is your brain telling you something unsafe is going to happen? And so like, how do you see this come up? Because a lot of our clients encounter people who they know aren't going to murder them. They know aren't going to be physically dangerous to them, but feel very threatening around their job, around like breaking the law. Like a lot of our clients, their employers put pressure on them to break the law, which feels very dangerous, right? And I think when you step back to these levels of what feels dangerous to us, how do you see that show up, do you think?
Yeah, I see that show up a lot as like speculating on other people's behavior,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, oh, my boss did this, my boss said that, he didn't do this, he did do that. There was this one time where this thing didn't go as normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Where the boss fired other people
yeah,
before, right? So they're going to fire me.
yeah,
And then it's the same process, I think,
yeah,
as my boss, this person's going to kill me, right? Like it's the same process. And he's not really going to fire me. If I do everything he says, then maybe it won't be dangerous. If I ignore it, then maybe it won't be dangerous, which is so dangerous, right?
which is the exact thing, right? It's like, if you're having these, like, I think about it like nature gave us instincts, right? Nature gave us instincts, and it's worth it to listen to them.
Yeah.
They,
And acknowledging the instinct
right.
doesn't mean that you're helpless. That's the place that you can take action from,
And it
right?
doesn't mean that you're crazy, right? Because like that comes up a lot too, right? People are like, oh, they think I'm crazy. Am I crazy? And that's just, it kind of doesn't matter, right? Because you can be totally crazy and be in danger, right?
What's that? I feel like a lot of clients say to me, I'm not paranoid if they're really, what's the phrase? I'm not paranoid if they really are watching me or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that I a lot of times I hadn't really thought about this until recently because we had so many clients come to us talking about dangerous people. We have a client right now who has a case in court where we're filed under a pseudonym and the opposite side wants her not to have a pseudonym, but the purpose of the pseudonym is so that she's protected from a law enforcement officer who was stalking her and showed up at her kid's school, right? And so she has been advised by experts that this person's dangerous and that she needs to protect herself, right? But when she first came to us, she really was like, am I crazy?
Yeah.
Like they seem to not think it's a big deal. I can't tell, is it a big deal? And all this self-doubt and all this not listening to her instincts. And she had to be very intentional about listening to her instincts and asking other people to honor her instincts. Oh, am I frozen? You're frozen. Let me see. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking because I think we can still record. Let me see if I can stop Rebecca's video. Okay, so we're back after I got kicked out. But now we want to talk about what does it look like when you do resolve a situation with a dangerous person? Is it possible to resolve a situation with a dangerous person? And then like the key steps that people need to take to do that. And so I know a lot of people come to us with a situation where somebody feels physically dangerous or their job is at risk and it really is like they're really afraid and they don't believe that it's possible to solve the problem.
No.
Right. And so what have you, I mean, I know we had one situation recently where a woman was being contacted. She was contacted like 150 times in 1 month by this person who was stalking her. And then we got involved and I think it took like a week or two. And then now there's no contact between them. And so we've seen that be able to be really successful and then navigate situations like the issue with the law enforcement officer about how to protect the client, but still enforce their legal rights and then teach them the skills that they need to do that in the future if something happens again. But I was thinking about this. So last night, my neighbor was talking about how she feels like our neighborhood is really dangerous right now and that everywhere she goes, she runs into dangerous people. And so she's going to move and she's going to leave her house and she's like going to I don't know what she's planning to do, but I was thinking about it and I was thinking, I just assume that there are dangerous people
Yeah.
kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's just my baseline assumption. And then I kind of assume that that's how life is supposed to be. Like that's sort of how humanity is. What do you think about and maybe it's helpful for us to share, like you've had experiences with dangerous people. I have too. So maybe yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I've had several experiences with dangerous people. I mean, like I was in the military, so I, besides that sort of an aspect, I had two experiences with people in the military. One where I didn't know someone was stalking me, and actually the military found out that they were. He actually like lived in an apartment across from me and like was watching me at night. And then I had a person that stalked me to my parents' house and actually tried to kill me. And um and in both of those situations, I wasn't able to take care of it like in real time. I had to take care of the danger after it happened.
Mhm.
Because I didn't have, like, the one I didn't know about, and the other one I didn't have the tools that I have now to deal with them, you
Mhm.
know. But I had to learn how to straddle, like, there are dangerous people in the world, and I get to go out into the world and be powerful,
Yeah.
because if I, for me, it was like if I went around and I was like, there are dangerous people everywhere, that would be really consuming without knowing I had power and I had choices.
Right. I mean, I think that that is the interesting thing is like watching our clients when we work with them trans like change from that place that my neighbor is in of like, if there's a dangerous person, it means I have to leave,
Yes.
to the place where they're like, if there's a dangerous person here, it's a good thing I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Because like now I think with our clients, I'm like, thank God I've gone through this. I know how to get you through this. I know
Yeah.
how to help you. I know that I will never be in that type of situation again where I feel helpless.
Yeah. 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 And I think that to me, the things that we've seen people do and the breakthroughs that we've seen people have of really being able to show up and take up more space, not
Right.
less space when
Mhm.
there's a dangerous person involved, I think is like pretty remarkable. And then the other thing I think is that one of the struggles that I see people have with this, like one of the challenges is the thing that my neighbor was saying that she was doing is she sees people who don't have homes, people who are camping out on the bike path by our neighborhood. And she assumes that they are dangerous. And then she engages with them and tells them to leave and like gets in their face about it. And it creates kind of a dangerous situation for her. Like she ends up in a dangerous situation. And not to say that she's done something wrong or that it's her fault if someone is breaking into her house or something like that. Like it's never our fault. Somebody else's behavior is never in our control. But I can see like a lot of people when they encounter a dangerous person think if they push back or are defend themselves or push back against the dangerous person, then it's gonna make them safe. And
Mhm.
it's an interesting hurdle that people have of learning how to engage in a way that does create safety and
Mhm.
when the appropriate times to engage and not engage are. I just have been thinking about this with I think it can be tricky and
Yeah.
we both had to learn it, right?
Yeah.
Like we literally had to learn instruction on it because we were like, I don't know how to do this.
You gotta know how to do this. Like there was no course. Thank you.
Yeah, I did not get taught in college how to handle a stalker. What do you do if you're kidnapped? I did not get taught that.
Craziest thing, right?
Yeah. And yeah, so I think that it ends up being, and then my experience is I've had kind of both, and we probably have both sides of the experience where you either feel like you're in physical danger. I know I had a experience when I was in Ukraine, when I was in Peace Corps, and my friend and I got back on an empty bus after the bus drivers guaranteed us they were gonna drive. I don't know. It was one of those decisions where when the doors closed, we were like, this was a terrible choice. Like, don't get back on the bus in a dark, strange city when the bus driver has, and they like drove us out to the country, and like my friend was like gathering weapons around. They were like, you girls like to party, right?
Yeah.
But then like in that scenario, we actually ended up being safe. Like nothing happened to us, and we made it pretty clear that if something happened to us, something was going to happen to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they ended up driving us back into town. They like got gas and drove us back to my friend's apartment. And it ended up being okay, but like and then I've had the other experiences of feeling really afraid at work, like afraid I'm going to lose my job if I don't comply with things I disagree with, things like that. So I think that like the hurdle for me really was that I was never taught how to do it.
Totally. Totally.
And I was taught to second guess myself. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to. And one of the things that I think about a lot is, and this is just like females and people that I, identify as females and present as females, politeness, right?
Yeah.
Politeness, you think politeness will get you out of any sort of situation. And that's another way of being defensive. Like, we don't think of politeness as a defense, but it is a defense.
Yeah.
In a lot of situations.
Yeah.
And a lot of our clients were very polite for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then
but we also think politeness means second guessing ourselves too, right?
Yes.
Believing that we're wrong.
Yes.
And there's so much motivation for us to do that, like we were talking about. So like if we're wrong, then we're safe.
Yeah.
Like, so I think the most key thing, we want to talk about like solutions to this, and right. To me the most key thing that I did was I talked about my situations. Like I always talked about it, and I didn't talk about it from a place. I had to get to a place of knowing that people everywhere have these experiences, and it doesn't mean there's something wrong with me if I've encountered a dangerous person, right? And I talk about it and find solutions, and then like listen to my instincts about when solutions are available, who to trust, and trust myself, like come back to myself about that.
Yeah. Because we're always like our best generator of ideas.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember like when I considered that my stalking lasted for like 8 years because my stalker was still dictating my decisions.
Yeah.
And the moment that like it changed was and this is literally the thought that I had. I was like, if he's going to kill me, he's going to kill me, but I'm done.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, so let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Yeah. Then you could be free and you could come back to yourself. You're like living this slave life.
Right.
I did the exact same thing in my job. I was like, they're going to fire me. They're going to fire me. They're going to fire me. Do what they say, try to make them happy, or they're going to fire you, like comply with the harassment. They're going to fire you. And then one day I was like, okay, so let's just do this. I'm going to show up. I'm going to serve my clients 1,000%. I'm going to do the best job I can do. And I'm going to report illegal activity that I see and oppose it. And then if they fire me, then that's probably a good thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's probably something better.
There's definitely something better.
Yeah.
And like, I think about probably dying would have been better. Because the life that I was living, right, was just
life.
It's not life.
I mean, I don't like to make light of that, but we are all going to die, we're all going to leave jobs. And the thing that we do, I think, is quit on ourselves ahead of time, quit on our lives ahead of time, live these suicide lives that are like not okay.
Right.
And like we buy into this idea that there aren't solutions, that there's no hope. And I just think that is the most poisonous idea that we could ever have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you like, it just shuts everything down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like hopelessness is,
And you don't even, because a lot of times when we're being polite, it's because we want other people to like us because we think that will be safer, right? If other people are happy,
right?
they're not happy anyway.
They're not happy anyway.
They don't like us anyway. It doesn't work.
No, it in the history of the world has never worked.
No.
Never.
So we're going to create some new content in our cultural health program for people who are dealing with dangerous people. We're obviously not threat assessment experts, but well, you may be. It's semi-threat assessment expert with your military background. But we have worked with threat assessment experts, and we've done a lot of threat assessment research. And sometimes when a case warrants it, we bring in a threat assessment expert or outside help to make sure that people are safe. We generally don't need to do that when you're worried about getting fired, when that's the fear. But if there's physical danger, then we have some resources that we use. And I think for us, for me at least, the main message that I want people to hear is that you do not have to feel afraid all day, and you do not have to have a dangerous person dictate how you show up in your life and what you do with your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And mine is like, you know best what's going on with you.
Yeah.
And you don't have to qualify that to anybody else.
No. No. And I think like the things that we did, I think was we believed there was potentially a solution.
Yeah.
And we like were open to the possibility that we could trust ourselves.
Yeah.
Not 100% there. Like, that I got help. And then we got help. Like, I think that it is worth getting help. And so we do that in the cultural health training program. We help people with issues like this. We, a lot of times what we do with a dangerous person, sometimes at least, is we send a cease and desist letter, like a formal notice to stop dangerous contact. And then we help people navigate how to feel safe, how to create safety in their life.
Yeah.
And if the idea of trusting yourself sounds too baffling, like,
Yeah.
we help with that too.
We have tons of help for you.
Yeah. So we're at erisresolution.com, ERIS resolution.com, and you can schedule a confidential consultation with us there, or just reach out to us on social media if that's more comfortable. Everything that we do is confidential, so you don't have to worry about, I don't know, your husband finding out or your boss finding out or anything like that. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for talking today, Rebecca.
Thanks. Nice.
Yeah.